Okay, so this is 6.2. Now that we know how to translate, we need to go over truth value for each one of the connectors and the negation. So what this means is each statement has an individual truth value, just like we went over with the simple and the compound statements. So we're going to do each of the connectors and the negation, and then we'll start working with these. Okay, so let's start with negation. So I have P here, and the translation of that is I will go to Pete's Coffee. So it can be true or it can be false. That's kind of the beauty of logic here. Each statement is either true or false. That's all, okay? So if we put a tilde in front of it, that means I will not go to Pete's Coffee. So if the original truth value is true, if you put a negation in front of it, then you get a false. That looks terrible. Let me try that again. You will get a false. Okay, if the original truth value is false and then you put a negation in front of it, you will get a true. Really simple. Whenever you have a negation, flip the sign. True becomes false, false becomes true. Okay? All right, let's move on to disjunction. So again, I have P or Q. So I will go to Pete's as P, and Q, I will go to Quiznos. And then of course this statement right here means I will go to Pete's or I will go to Quiznos. And a lot of times we do shorten things and we'll just say I will go to Pete's or Quiznos. So you have to be aware of that. It still means I will go to Quiznos. Okay? Now we have a compound or complex statement. So now we're going to have a row or column for P and for Q. So, and we'll learn this when we do long truth tables, but for right now, just know that if you do TF, TF on your first column over here, and then your next one is TTFF, that does give you all the possible combinations. Okay, so this first statement here says it's true that I went to Pete's, and it's true that I went to Quiznos. And my original statement was I will go to Pete's or Quiznos. So as long as you satisfied one of them, it's true. Okay, the second line here says it's true, I went to Pete's, but it's false, I did not go to Quiznos. Okay, which is fine because at least one of them is true, so overall I have made it true. Second one, it's false, did not go to Pete's, but it's true, I went to Quiznos, so that's fine. I made it true. Last one, false, didn't go to Pete's, false, didn't go to Quiznos. Okay, I made the statement false. I didn't go to either of them. I said I was going to go to at least one of them. Okay? Conjunction. Same setup. The only difference is you got to change the sign. P and Q mean the same thing. I forgot to change that sign. I'll do it right now. There we go. That's kind of messed up, but go with it. Okay, so we got I will go to Pete's, it's true. And I will go to Quiznos, it's true. So in this statement, I said I will go to Pete's and I will go to Quiznos. This first line says I went to both of them. I made the statement true. Second line, it's true, I went to Pete's. However, I did not go to Quiznos, and I said I would go to both of them, so I made it false. The second one, did not go to Pete's, but I did go to Quiznos, but again, I made it false. I have to go to both of them because it's an and statement. And the bottom one, it was a bad day. I didn't go to Pete's, didn't go to Quiznos. It's false, okay? So easy to remember here with the or statement, the only time you're ever going to make it false is when they're both false because it's an or, okay? With an and statement, the only time you're ever going to make it true is when they're both true. Those are your special lines. Okay, conditional. So this time, P means you participate in class, and Q means you get participation points. So this last one right here means this right here. If you participate in class, then you get participation points. So if P, then Q. And by the way, this does not apply to this class. I'm just using it as an example. So this first line here says it's true, you participated in class, and it's true, you get your participation points. You were not lied to. Everything is good. Second one, it's true, you participated in class, but it's false. You did not get your participation points. So you were lied to. That's false. Third one, false, you did not participate in class, but you did get your participation points. Okay? So remember, this is a one-way street. If this happens, then this must happen. This happened in this case. It's true you got your points, but you didn't participate. It's still made true because you could have gotten your participation points a different way. Okay? So false, you did not participate, and false, you did not get your participation points. You were not lied to. You didn't participate, you didn't get your points. That one's true. The only time you ever get a false with a conditional is on the second one right here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight it for you so you can really see it. This is the special one. Because remember what I said last time. A conditional statement means if this happens, then this must happen. Okay? Now, you're probably confused on this one. Just because this didn't happen, I'll just delete it, doesn't mean this can't happen. The only way this sentence works is to tell you if this does happen, this must happen. Okay? And if you're still confused, it's explained in the book as well, or you can email me. Okay, biconditional. So we got a new one here. So P is I will go to the party. Q is I finished studying. The statement is I will go to the party if and only if I finish studying. Okay, so first line here says I'm at the party and I finished studying. All is good. I didn't lie. Second one here says I'm at the party, but I did not finish studying. I lied. Third one, I am not at the party, but I did finish studying. Again, I lied. Last one, I am not at the party and I did not finish studying, so I told the truth. So remember, this is if you're at the party, you finish studying. If you finish studying, you're at the party. Because if you guys remember, this was that one that has two conditional statements. So that's why you have to have both of them be satisfied. So in this case, the way I remember it is if they're the same truth value, they're true. And if they're different truth values, they're false. Okay? So how are we going to apply all this? Well, first and foremost, what I have right up here is a really easy way to remember this. This is really the only thing you need. So what I've done here is all your connectors, all your truth values, all lined up for you. The one in red is that one unique one, except for the biconditional, that just helps you remember it. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do with these is we are going to apply them to statements, and we're going to be told whether a statement is true or false. So in the book, this is what your homework will be. A, B, and C will be true. X, Y, and Z, false. Don't question this. You're being told this. You're just going to use it. Okay? Later on, we're not going to know, and then we'll have to do long truth tables to determine the validity of a statement. However, for right now, we're just going baby steps. Okay? So what this means is if you have an A, it's true. Okay? If I have a B, it's true. Okay, got that. Now we have to start playing around with this a little bit. So A is true, so not A is false, because right here, so A is going to be true, so not A would be false. Just look at the chart. Now we're going to look up here, so we have false or true. So we know that we're looking at this column right here. That's our wedge column. And we know we have FT, so right here. So we have F right here, we have T right here. Here's our wedge. That's the one we're looking at. So we have false or true, and that will give us a true. That's the answer right there. Okay, now we have Y, which is false. We have C, which is true. Ooh, sorry about that. Here we go. Gotta stop touching the screen. I gotta work on that. C, which is true. So first thing we want to do is start working this out. So we want to go with the negation. Always deal with the negation first. So if Y is false, we know that not Y is true. And now we're going to have true or true, and we're still with the wedge, so we're going to be right here, and it's going to give us true. Okay, now we'll move over here, get a little bit more complicated. Oops. Okay, A is true, X is false, B is true, Y is false. Again, we're not questioning this, we're just going with it. Okay, now just like in math class, do what's inside the parentheses first and then move on the outside of it. Okay, so we're going to go over to the dot now. Okay, so we have a T for A, we have an F for X, so we have a false. This time we're over here, we're going to be doing the dot, and we have T and F. And then with the dot, we know that's going to be false. And they happen to be exactly the same, so we already know this one is going to be false as well. Okay, so that's inside the parentheses. We know that's going to be false. Now, I'll just bring it down so you can see it. We have a wedge between those two. So now what we need to do is we need to look at the same chart, but we need to go to a different section. So now we're going to look at the wedge, which is right here. And we have a false, and we have a false, we have a wedge, so now we know it's going to be false. Okay? Okay, let's go down to the next one. We have C is true, we have Y is false, we have A is true, we have Z is false. If you're wondering where I'm getting this from, right here. I'm not questioning it. They're telling me if that's what it is, I'm going to go with it. Okay, so like up here with our wedge, our tilde here, it only acts on that one Y. But here, our tilde acts on everything inside of these parentheses. So we need to get everything inside the parentheses first and then negate it. Okay, so we're up here. We're going to go look at the dot. So we're going to go to the dot one right here. We have TF, so we have T, we have F, we go to the dot. Okay, so we have a false. And we might as well do this one over here since it's exactly the same. Okay, now we have to deal with this tilde. So we know that inside it's false, so now if we do the tilde, we know it becomes true. So now we're going to go over to the wedge here. So now we're going to have T or F. So we're back here, we're T or F, but we're at the wedge. So we go down to the wedge and we know it's going to be true. Okay. Now we'll do a little bit larger of one. Hopefully I don't make a mess of this. Okay, so we got A is true. We got B is true. We got C is true. We got A is true. We got B is true. And we got C is true. Okay. That was the easy part. Okay, so this time we got brackets and we got parentheses. So we're going to start inside the parentheses. Let's just go ahead and work out everything on this side, and then we'll go work out everything on this side. Okay, so we got true or true. So true or true. That'll give us true. And then that's inside the parentheses, and then we have true or true again. So that will give us true inside those brackets. Okay, let's go to the other side. We have true or true, which will give us true. That's in the parentheses. We have true or true again. So that will give us true, and that's inside the brackets. This one has a tilde on it, so we're going to have to take care of that. Now that we know that everything inside the brackets is true, we're going to negate it. So now we know that this side is actually false, and this side is true. Okay, so now we're at this. We're going to go deal with this conjunction, or the dot. And we know this side is true. We know this side is false. So we're right here, true, false, with the dot. So the entire thing is made false. So we just combine this one right here, that side of the bracket, with this side of the bracket right there. Okay, that's one portion of your homework. And now the next portion, so that's part 3. Part 4 is what I'm going to go over right now. Okay, so with part 4, what they do is they introduce an unknown variable. Okay, let's show you how to do this. Okay, so you have A is true. Again, I'm getting that right there. Now P is unknown. Okay, so we have A is true, P is unknown, and the key here is we are looking at the OR section. Okay, so let's look up here and see. So this one has 2 trues on it. That's fine, because this one has 1 true, so we know that's a possibility. This one has a true here, so we know that's a possibility because we have a true. The unknown, it could be false. That's fine. This one has 1 true as well, so we're good with that. The only line that doesn't have any trues is this one right here. Okay? Because they're all false. This one's false and this one's false. And I have to have at least 1 true in there. Okay? So what that means is you want to ask yourself, okay, if I get rid of this last line, which is what I just put a line through, is there a theme or commonality between the rest of them that remain? And yeah, they're all true. So it doesn't matter what P is. If you have a disjunction and you have one side of it is true, you automatically know the entire thing is true without a question. Okay? And it's special with disjunction. And if you'll look at the little cheat sheet up here, it's because the only time it doesn't work is right there. So anytime you have a true, it's made true. And that's because it's an OR statement. Okay, let's look at the second one. So we have A is true and P is unknown. Okay, well this time we're over here. We're at the and, the conjunction. Again, we know that we have a T. And the only line that will not give us a T is, again, this bottom one. But it's different this time. So this time, are they all the same? No, they're different. So that means the answer must remain an unknown. I still don't know what it is. It could be a T or it could be an F. I don't know. But now remember over here, when we got rid of that F and you look up here, they're all the same. So we knew it was going to be true. It didn't matter. Okay, so that's how you determine if it's unknown or not. Okay, let's do the next one here. So we have a Y, which is false, or P, which is an unknown. No, I didn't mean to put FU. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're over here. We're on the and conjunction. We have a Y is false. So now this time, this is the one that we have to get rid of, right? Because there's a T and a T, and I don't have any T's down here. I have an F, and this one's an F, 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 perfect. Okay, so now we're going to ask ourselves, are they all the same? Yeah, they are. So it doesn't matter what P is, this one is false. Okay, next one. We have an unknown, and we have B, which is true. Okay. This one's a little bit different because it's a conditional, so you have to be a little bit more careful with these. So when it comes to conditional, you remember that you have to have the T in the consequent position. So let's go up here. Remember, we're looking right here at the horseshoe, and it has to be in this position. Okay, so we have a T here in the consequent, and we have a T here in the consequent. Okay, these other two don't work because there's not a T in the consequent position. Okay, so let's look up here. This one is a true. This one is a true. All right, it doesn't matter what it is. It's going to be true. Okay, and now this one's actually in your homework, but I want to go over it because students always struggle with this one. And I usually solve this one a little bit differently for you guys. Okay, most students, when they look at this, they simply say, okay, that doesn't make any sense because I have an unknown to an unknown. So most people just look at that and go, unknown. Okay, but the thing about this one is that it's the same simple statement repeated and then it's negated. Okay, so let's look at this one. So remember what I said earlier, the only thing that a simple statement can be is true or false. It's kind of the beauty of what logic is about. So let's make P true, and then let's make P false. Okay, so I'm just kind of working this out. So if P is true on this side, P has to be true over here. It's not like the truth value changes. Okay, now over here we have to take care of the fact that we have a tilde. So if P is true, not P is false. And if P is false, not P is true. Okay, so now we're going to pay attention to those two. Get rid of that. Okay, so let's look up here. We know we're on this one right here. And we know we have true, false, and false, true. So that is not a possibility, and that is not a possibility. And again, by the way, when I'm looking at these, I'm looking at this right here. Okay? So I'm asking myself, I need a true, false. Well, this is true, true, and this is false, false. That's how I know those two are not an option. And now I'm going to ask myself, what's left over? Okay, it has to be false. And that's my answer. Okay, so again, this is going to be part 4 of your homework. Hopefully this helped you out. If you have questions, obviously email me, and I will help you as best I can.